Our next interview will be with Shreyas Deshmukh on political, economic, and security risks in Afghanistan and Pakistan. Shreyas is a research assistant for the Center for Land Warfare Studies, CLAWS, New Delhi, and a consultant on geopolitical risk management to Mitcat Advisory, a risk management firm. He is also a South and Central Asia Fellow at Polytact, Washington, D.C. Shreyas completed his master's degree in Defense and Strategic Studies from the University of Pune. He has worked for the Institute for Defense Studies and Analysis in New Delhi, where he co-edited a book, Unending Violence in Pakistan, Analyzing the Trends, and 10 issues of Pakistan News Digest, which is a monthly magazine. Presently, he's working on developments in the Afghanistan-Pakistan region at CLAWS and has contributed research papers and articles on the region. During this interview, there is a slight echo in the line, and at one point we do actually lose connection. When we got reconnected, I dropped my video off to ensure that we try to maintain the best possible quality audio for the listeners. If you have business operations or you're looking to invest in the South Asia region, Shreyas is an outstanding resource for political, economic, and security analysis for this region. Enjoy the interview. Shreyas, I want to thank you very much for taking time from your very busy schedule to be with us here today to talk about political, security, and economic risks in Afghanistan and Pakistan. You have a lot of expertise in this area, in this region of the world, so please share that with us.
Thank you, Josh, for having me and giving this opportunity to express my views in this forum, basically. And I just want to say that whatever I will say, those are my personal views, and there is no, they're not related to my institution or the government of India.
Sure.
Okay. So I would like to speak about, as you mentioned, the geopolitical issues in AFPAC area and economic and political issues in Afghanistan and Pakistan. So initially, I'll just highlight in brief, what are the problems in Afghanistan and Pakistan facing, and at the end, in conclusion, I'll talk about the major projects, energy projects, which are going on this region, and what are the problems they are facing. So I'll start with explaining what is the geopolitical situation in South Asia. The geopolitics of South Asia circles around the two nuclear powers, that is Pakistan and India. And further, it includes the geopolitical location of Afghanistan, which is connecting to the Central Asia. And further, we are talking about the Great Games and Cold War and US intervention and many other things. Another factor is China. It's the neighbor of South Asia, and it has major political and economic interest in the region. Keeping in mind the dynamics of the region and paucity of the time, I'll just restrict my comments to the presentation primarily to the AFPAC region, and I'll briefly touch upon India, not in detail. Further, I'll try to give an idea of evolved political, security, political, economic risks in the region, basically Afghanistan, Pakistan. Now, it is up to the panel or the audience, as you said, to classify the probable solution, and I put forth the presentation as preventive or curative depending upon their approach to the problem. So, talking about South Asia, World Bank has projected that there will be accelerated economic growth and healthy economic growth in coming decade in South Asia. So, however, bigger effect on the fortunes of the region could come from the domestic development, political turmoil, or security issues, as I have said, in Pakistan and Afghanistan. At present, India is benefiting from the Modi dividend, which is the new government, right-wing government, they say. But he came up with the new FDI initiatives, land acquisition amendments in the legislation. So it is supporting the foreign countries to invest in India. In case of Pakistan, if we talk about, Pakistan is the second biggest economy in the region. But the political turmoil damaged investors' confidence in Pakistan. Security issues in Pakistan and still right now, since the Nawaz government came in the past, they're trying to attract investors, European investors especially, and Chinese investors, to giving them confirmation that okay, there will be a stability in Pakistan next 10, 20 years, and the Operation Zarberas, which has started to stop the terrorism within the country, it is the result is coming up, and security situation is increasing in Pakistan. Many hydroelectricity projects and power projects are going on, and IMF or ADB and China is planning to invest more and more amount in Pakistan in coming days. For an example, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Regarding Afghanistan, the country is still fragile and security situation is very bad right now. The Chinese projects like Aina Copper Mine or Amu Darya River projects are still on hold. Though recently they have started the Aina Copper Mine project few months back. Uh, so I'll just deal with the Pakistan's security situation, political security and economic situation. I'll give a brief about what is the situation in Pakistan right now. So first we'll talk about the political security risk in Pakistan. There are a few elements of that which are causing problems. First would be the civil-military relations. Second is center-state relations. Third is executive-judiciary relations. These are some of the issues still investors are not finding in Pakistan, like this country will some sort of stable in the coming future. In June 2013, there was a successful political transition in Pakistan from Zardari to Nawaz Sharif. Initially, we saw the stable political landscape in Pakistan, but however the time went, internal situation became fragile because of the attacks on Karachi airport or a few other major attacks like on Ismailis or school attacks where hundreds or 120 children were killed. So finally, again, the power started shifting from civil dispensation to military, which have happened initially or many times in the history of Pakistan. So uncertainty and predictability of the relation between center state, military, judiciary, hampering growth of the Pakistan. Again, if we go more in details, like 18th amendment, what they say, where it is giving the autonomy to the Prime Minister and the provinces. So the basic issue of the autonomy to the provinces, where Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is, where Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf is very effective and they're the ruling party. In Sindh, PPP is ruling party. So they're taking their own decisions and it becomes more problem for the national projects such as China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. So this is very difficult for the Pakistan to handle the political risk where investors are not finding well. Coming to the social risks, there are different dynamics of the social risk if we see. One is the rich-poor divide, another is the ethnic issues where Punjabis, Baluchis problem or the Pashtun Sindhis problem or Pashto issue in Karachi or Balochistan area, Quetta. Third is sectarian issues. Basically, minorities have been targeted in Pakistan since long time. Ahmadiyya against Ahmadiyya movement in 1974, they declared Ahmadiyyas are not Muslims. So it has a long history. So this social risk or social issues are causing. I would like to say, if you see the situation in Karachi, it was one of the best countries in Asia initially. In 1990, it was the most growing city in the Asia, including Southeast Asia. But right now, because of the gangsters and Taliban or Islamic Tehreek, ETIM or Islamic Movement of Hizbullah, all these factions of radical Islams are working over there. Muttahida Qawmi movement or Pakistan People's Party, they are related to somehow this uh, using this antisocial elements for the political purposes, I would say. So this is one of the issue, the social risk, which is in Pakistan. Coming to security risk, if we say, uh, since last two since last 2 years there is a attack specially target by Taliban on security establishments. Uh, I can give you many examples like Mehran naval base attack or the attack on Corps headquarters in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So these are some of the attacks which are targeted ISI bases, or military establishment and the government establishment. And the recent attack on the uh, uh, Minister of Punjab, where he got killed in his hometown. After Peshawar attack, where 120 children got killed, government came with a new national action plan. And recently, with one of the discussion, I asked some of my friends, and they said we don't know what is national action plan anymore because no one is scared about that. And with this national action plan, government came with another thing, that is military course, where they empower the army to for the trials like justice system, where they changed amendment and brought the 21st amendment in the constitution. Now, since then, I think more than 300 people got hanged in Pakistan since then. But we don't know who are these people. They are really terrorists or just a small criminals. No one knows. So, credibility of justice system again hampered because of this decision, and there is no linkages between the interior minister or the defense minister who never talked since last 3-4 months. So there is no internal discussions within the government. So the credibility of the government, Pakistan government, is reducing. That is one of the problems related to the security risk. Economic risk. State is in fragile condition, the Pakistan state, because of the low growth rate, balance of payment is impossible for, it was impossible initially in 2013-14 for the Pakistan. Fiscal deficit was huge and most of the money was going on the military expenditure. In 2015, Pakistan got 8 billion of foreign aid, which includes the 65% of Chinese aid. IMF given around $6 billion for the 3 years of period extended fund facility, EFF, their plan. ADB is giving still money for the hydroelectricity projects and many other projects in Pakistan. China is providing money for the China-Pakistan economic corridor, and US is giving a lot of money for the war against terrorism, which Pakistan is fighting in its northern areas, North-Western, South-Western area. So the country is depending on the war economy and the foreign aid. That is the basic issue, and the revenue from the tax collection is minimum because of the basic economic structure of Pakistan, where the landlords or feudal Chaudharis in Sindh area, they are effective in the Punjab as well. So government is not ready to get the tax from those people because they are dominant in the political infrastructure, and further the remaining people like Punjabis are dominant in the military and diplomatic services. So government doesn't have that power to get the taxes from these people. So the economic structure of the Pakistan is very loose. So these are the three issues like political, security and economic situation of Pakistan is fragile. Moving on from Pakistan, which is very coming to Afghanistan, which is very related to Pakistan. one general used to say that the Afghan government can run from the Peshawar. So this is the problem what Pakistan is having their mind since independence. Like they think it's a white man's burden that to run Afghanistan is their responsibility, which is not true. But they're realizing right now last few years. Sorry.
It's okay.
Vis-a-vis Pakistan, Afghanistan, if you see, there are two different kind of uh, perception existing in the world. One is the pessimistic and one is the optimistic. Why pessimistic? Because of Taliban is resurging. We can see in this operation as the recent spring offensive, the passing year, there was unprecedented casualty. There was a different reason because of the withdrawal of the majority of ISAF forces. And first time Afghan National Army was handling and was on the front fighting with the Taliban. But still, Afghan National Army is weak, and according to Special Inspector General for Afghanistan's report, that the degradation rate of the Afghan National Army is very high. Political situation, again, there is a coalition government between Abdullah and Dr. Ashraf Ghani. Both were the rivals of each other during the election. Now they came together under the name of National Unity Government. But still, the people are very pessimistic about the unity. Corruption is another issue, but the understanding the corruption issue in Afghanistan is totally different because the corruption in India or the corruption in Pakistan, anywhere in the world is different kind of dynamics. But in Afghanistan, it's more ethnic and personal ties, and without ethnic and cultural ties, tribal issues, a person in the political establishment can't survive. Hence, he has to provide some sort of leverage to his people who are nearby and who his supporters. So the corruption is different in Afghanistan. The fundamental issue of fundamentalism coming to the ISIS or the Daesh, as they say, which is coming in Kunar area, Nuristan area. It has a limited reach in Afghanistan because of the cultural and ethnic traditional history of Afghanistan where the radical Islam couldn't survive. Taliban could survive because of their ethnic and tribal affinities with the Pashtuns. But ISIS is totally different dynamics. And my analysis says ISIS started or spreading in Afghanistan just because of the economic issues and the narcotics, the money they're getting from the poppy cultivation and the huge amount of leverage they're getting over there. It is and Nuristan basically. Why situation is optimistic in Afghanistan? Why there are some hopes regarding the future of Afghanistan? One is Afghan National Army is defending their territory against Taliban, and they successfully defended their territory in this fighting season. However, there was the fall of Kunduz, or most of the area of Helmand and Kandahar were under Taliban rule, but still, excuse me, Afghan National Army fought courageously, and they're still fighting against these people. Initially, there was rumors that there will be ethnic division within the Afghan National Army and the government. Because if we see in the second round of presidential election, which was conducted totally on ethnic basis. Initially, Abdullah won the first round, and second round Ghani was taken the lead. because of the division of the Pashtun ethnic support to the Ghani, and Abdullah has the Tajik blood. So after the elections, John Kerry visited Kabul and he discussed the issue with Ashraf Ghani and Abdullah. We sit down together and the product is National Unity Government, which is still working, which is still functional. So there are some sort of hopes with this. Uh, Another issue is vibrant civil society, which is coming up in Afghanistan, which is more liberal and which is more dynamic and which is more educated, especially in northern Afghanistan and Kabul. So there is some sort of hopes against this process of radicalization, and people were thinking that Afghanistan will collapse after the withdrawal of majority of forces and it will go in the hands of radical forces again. But that is not happening, and that's why the hopes are there. So, talking about the political risks in Afghanistan, initially Ashraf Ghani has taken some controversial tasks like uh, there are two countries in the world, I think so, that the foreign uh, affairs discussed in great manner in civil society. That is, one is US during the presidential election as well. They discuss foreign policy, and another is Afghanistan, where people every day discuss about the foreign policy of Afghanistan, whether be in the region or beyond the region. So initially, Ghani knows that the key of stability of Afghanistan is in the hand of Pakistan. So he diverted the policy of his predecessor Karzai towards Pakistan from India. He had some hopes with the Pakistan that okay, they will sit with the Pakistan on the table and discuss the issue and sort it out the things with the Taliban as well. So that was the massive shift and the change of the foreign policy of Afghanistan. Again, there was some sort of, he signed the BSA, bilateral security agreement with the US, which is another major turn because initially Karzai didn't approve and he said he's not going to sign the BSA with US because of his personal issues with the US establishment. Third issue is Ghanish was facing that the sharing power with Abdullah, and there was no constitutional position which he could have given to Abdullah because it's a presidential establishment where there was no role of prime minister. So he needs to give Abdullah is an equal position with him. Without that, there couldn't be any reconciliation process between these two people or the two political patterns. So finally, they created Chief of Executive of Afghanistan, which is one of the posts that he has given to Abdullah, and they're working side by side. But the sharing power with your someone's rival is very difficult, and still he is having the problems. For an example, they couldn't still appoint the permanent defense ministry, or there was no appointments of the governors in most of the provinces in Afghanistan. Till 6 months back, 30 provinces of Afghanistan didn't have a permanent governor. Most of the governors who were appointed in 25 provinces were they knew that their position won't be there in after a few months. That's why the corruption started increasing in many provinces, and again Ghani started facing this problem. Again, this political situation in Afghanistan is interlinked with the security situation. Taliban, there are four kind of elements which are working in Afghanistan. One is Taliban, which is very effective. Second is foreign terrorists like Islamic Movement of Turkmenistan, ETIM, Islamic Movement of Uzbekistan. Now ISIS, these are the foreign terrorists who are working, who are very effective in northern Afghanistan and eastern Afghanistan. Third is intelligence agencies of many different countries, India, Pakistan, US, Germany. There are many covert operations are going on at the same time. and fourth is opium, drugs, and smuggling of narcotics. These are the four issues Afghanistan is facing on the security front. On the economic front, if we say, Ghani is very determined to eradicate the cancer graft from the country. Like his initialist, when he came in the power, he reopened the case of Kabul bank case, which was one of the largest banking scandal in the history of Afghanistan, where $900 million of business involved in this. Another thing is the defense ministry, where oil prices for the MOT were 100 million more expensive than the original market prices, which was MOD is buying, and many internal people like contractors getting paid for this. Other international NGOs who are keeping tab on this, like Special Inspector General for Afghanistan or UN, they are giving reports subsequently on which Afghanistan government is acting, and there are hopes that in coming future Afghanistan stand on its feet. But for time being, right now or for next few years, it is very difficult to say that Afghan economy will be stable. The fear of support for the Afghan National Army, it is not now there anymore, because recently in NATO summit, NATO countries approved that they will support Afghan National Army till 2020 economically. They they will be giving them $4 billion every year in next 5 years. So I just gone through the political risk, security risk, and economic risk which are involved in Afghanistan as well as in Pakistan. As I said initially, there are few international projects which is going on region, that is TAPI, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India pipeline, gas pipeline. Second is IP pipeline, Iran, Pakistan pipeline. Third is Central Asia, South Asia 1000 electricity line. And fourth is China, Pakistan economic corridor. And all these four major projects are hampered because of this security, political and economic instability in the region. If we are talking the case study of TAPI, initially Total, Chevron and ExxonMobil was ready to take this project on the board. But when they found that the security situation is not that much stable and there was no coordination between the regional industries, such as Afghan Gas Enterprise or Turkmen Gas or the GAIL in India or Interstate Gas System in Pakistan. So there was no coordination between the regional uh, companies. So they backtracked from their initial proposals. So and another thing was Afghan security situation, where initially the northern Afghanistan was more stable, but after this fighting season, everyone got to know that in Kunduz or Badakhshan and Logar province are as much as vulnerable to Taliban insurgency, like in southern Afghanistan, Kandahar, Helmand. So it's affecting the decision makers that okay, shall we go or shall not with this project. So again, these projects are on hold, basically TAPI. Coming to the IP, Iran-Pakistan gas pipeline, because of the sanction of Iran, initially this pipeline was on hold, though Iran completed their part of the pipeline in the Pakistani border. But Pakistan, again, coming to the economic fragility of Pakistani state, they couldn't invest around, uh, I think it's around 700 kilometers pipeline from Lahore to Karachi. They had to invest around $2 billion for that, and they didn't have that money. Yes, so I was talking about the TAPI pipeline initially. I spoke about how the investors are backtracking from their initial plans to invest in Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Iran pipeline. And India is looking for another viable alternative in the form of states like South Asia Gas Enterprises and import of LNGs from Qatar or Middle Eastern countries. Uh, the second case study was talking about the Iran-Pakistan gas pipeline, where because of the sanctions on Iran, Pakistan do not want it to go with this project forward. But Iran was already completed their side of the pipeline, so Pakistan had to go with this project. But because of the economic instability and unavailability of the funds, they couldn't build their side of the gas pipeline. Hence, Chinese said they will build the pipeline from Karachi to Lahore. But again, the security situation in Punjab and northern Pakistan, they again backtracked from that decision. Now there is a competition between Russians and Chinese to build this pipeline. So in coming years, we can see the competition between the regional powers to invest in energy projects in Pakistan as well as in India. Uh, the third project I was talking about, the Central Asia South Asia 1000 electricity line, which supposed to be cover high voltage transmission like converter stations, and it's supposed to come from the Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan to Afghanistan to Pakistan, subsequently to India in case. But the present infrastructure in Pakistan cannot hold or sustain, or it doesn't have distribution capability of this amount of electricity. So Pakistan is looking forward to invest in the production of electricity in the next few years, and they're planning to produce 10,000 megawatts of electricity till 2020 or 2022. But first they need to invest in to build the infrastructure and the distribution line in Pakistan. Third is China-Pakistan economic corridor. It is engulfed in the geopolitical issues. The Chinese and Pakistan is thinking, or the India is opposing this development project, and it is against the geopolitical interest of India. And India has the security concerns because initially the project, the corridor supposed to be goes through northern Pakistan. So excuse me, northern Pakistan, that is Khyber Pakhtunkhwa to Balochistan to Gwadar. Now they have changed the route from uh, Xinjiang to Gilgit, from Punjab, that is Lahore, Islamabad to Karachi via Gwadar. So that is again the problem for the India, and India has some sort of security concern. But China is also facing some problems for this project in Pakistan. For example, Baloch are saying Pakistan is sold Gwadar port to China. It is against the sovereignty of the country. So how can a country sell its part to the another country? So Balochis are agitating against this decision, and many Chinese casualties have happened in Gwadar and surrounding areas, including Gilgit. This change of the routes again another problem for Pakistani establishment, because Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government, as I said, because of the new amendment, provincial governments got the new powers where they can take their own decisions. So now Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government is opposing this decision, saying there should be two routes of China-Pakistan economic corridors. First will initially planned route, which will go to the northern Pakistan, and second, it will go through the southern Pakistan. From the southern Pakistan, there is a problem with the Gilgit because the status of Gilgit in Pakistani constitution is controversial. It doesn't have a provincial acceptability, and its Gilgit is the conflict zone. And so Chinese are asking, so tell me, Gilgit is Pakistani part or the Indian part? because they have to take the permissions from both the countries if they want to build or go ahead with the China-Pakistan economic corridor. So in coming days, in next few months, maybe in 5 or 6 months, there will be amendment and change in the constitution. Gilgit and Baltistan might get provincial acceptability, and again, it might create some sort of problems between India and Pakistan. So these are the few big projects which have hampered because of this economic, political, and security instability in this particular region. And somehow there was no land connectivity for India to Central Asia or Afghanistan. So it is hampering India's growth also because the energy needs of India is huge and Central Asia can provide that need. But because of not availability of land connectivity, the growth rate has down in India, which might be one more percent. Right now it is the 6%, it might be a 7% in coming days. If there will be a land connectivity through Pakistan, through Afghanistan, to Turkmenistan and Tajikistan. Excuse me. So these are the issues which I want to share with you and the community. And further, if there are any questions, I'm ready to take on this particular issue.
Sure. Shreyas, India, as you just mentioned, their economy is growing. It's one of the fastest growing economies in Asia.
Right.
And yet the neighboring countries are all struggling. Why is that?
If you're looking at the India's economy, it is diverse economy. It is not just based on one resource. It's based on the service industry, it is based on the production, and it's an agricultural economy. Comparing to the Bangladesh, if you go, it is based on totally agricultural-based economy. If you go to the Afghanistan, I just explained the security situation,
sure,
political and economic situation. If you go to the Pakistan, the feudal social structure and the corruption are the bigger issues in Pakistan, and the most of the economy is in the hands of the military infrastructure and the diplomatic infrastructure establishment of Pakistan. So there is, if even India has some sort of corruption, but the corruption is reaching each and every part of the society, which is not the thing in Afghanistan or Pakistan or in Bangladesh, even in Sri Lanka, if you could say, because the Rajapaksa government was very well known for the corruption, and most of these family members were in the government and handling big industrial projects, and they had big companies. So that is one of the things I would say India is progressing, but not the other countries in South Asia.
Okay, now in Pakistan, you mentioned a little bit of infrastructure and building electricity over the next few years.
Right.
Pakistan, what will they use for electrical power? Are they looking at hydroelectric, nuclear? What kind of facilities will they build to help create the electricities?
In the present, there are 4,000 megawatts of deficit in the Pakistan electricity needs, energy needs. When Nawaz Sharif came into the power, his first priority was to build the energy infrastructure in Pakistan. So he started and continued with the hydroelectricity projects like Dasu Dam or Diamar Basha Dam in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa or in Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. So these are few big projects from which could produce more than 1,000 megawatts of electricity. Chinese are ready to invest in Karachi, or they are already built two nuclear power projects in Karachi, and they are still building 4 more nuclear power projects in Karachi and surrounding areas and cities. So the basic focus of Pakistan is towards hydroelectricity projects and nuclear power projects.
Okay.
And third is on the thermal electricity, which are still going on because the lack of the gas and scarcity of the gas and the coal, they cannot go with the thermal electricity power projects. But they are most focused on the nuclear and the hydroelectricity power projects.
Okay. Now Pakistan has a lot of issues besides just terrorism. They had major heat waves and droughts Then they had major flooding throughout the country, actually. And with the earthquake that hit earlier this year, agriculturally, Pakistan has to be taking a major hit this year. Can their economy, with exports, I don't see a lot of foreign investment coming into Pakistan, and I don't know what their exports are, but I would think that agriculture would be a big part of what they do to feed their people. Can they afford to bring in the amount of food that would be required to feed the people if agriculturally they have really bad years?
Indeed, they have a very bad year, 2015, agriculturally and economically as well. But as I have mentioned, the Pakistan economy is surviving on foreign aid. The first thing. Second thing, there was not much investment in the agriculture. Though most of the feudal lords, including Nawaz Sharif, he has large amount of lands in Punjab. Zardari, he has large amount of lands in the Sindh areas, Chaudharis in Hyderabad areas. So the somehow agriculture industry in Pakistan surviving because of the feudal and uh, uh, their effectiveness or their support in the government, and the government is supporting agriculture because the government or the political patterns as a major backup of agricultural industry and farmers. But what I see in coming days, like relations between Russia and NATO and US, Russia is trying to divert its food imports from NATO and other countries towards South Asia. And that's why Russia is looking towards Pakistan, Afghanistan, and India. That's why they're building or uh, pressing to the stability in this particular region where they can get more resources and agricultural products and import from this area. In coming days, I think Russia will invest in Pakistan agricultural sector. But right now, as you said, because of the floods and basically the agriculture hub of Pakistan is Punjab and Sindh. And floods have happened in Punjab. And most of the damage have happened in Punjab area is agriculture. So though in considering the amount or the percentage agriculture has in the overall Pakistan economy is very less compared to the foreign aid. So it's not going to affect the Pakistani economy as such, but
Okay.
indeed the common people.
Okay. Now, Pakistan has done a really good job over the last few years in bringing down the number of terrorist incidents that actually occur within the country. However, they still have a lot of incidents that occur. And how are they going to continue curbing this so that they can start bringing more foreign investment into their country?
As I said, there are less incidents since last 1 year, 2 years in Pakistan, terrorist incidents. Because of initially Khan started operation in South Waziristan and now General Rai Sharif started operation against these antisocial elements in North Waziristan area, Shawal area, the Zakir area. And most of these terrorists migrated to Afghanistan and some of them came to Gilgit area or Sindh or Islamabad and Rawalpindi area. And their strategy is just lie down for the time being. The major problem with Pakistan, the radicalization, terrorism starts with the radicalization at the level of schools, madrasa, which is the major issue, and Pakistan government still cannot, after the National Action Plan, stop the funding to these madrasas. And they couldn't register these madrasas formally in the government infrastructure. So there are more than 40,000 madrasas who are working and more than 10 million students studying in these madrasas. It's a huge amount of human capital. So, as you said, the result of these operations for the time being only, it's very short time period. But once this operation will stop and the Pakistan army will take back their forces from these areas, again these people will regroup these areas and start the operations within Pakistan and Afghanistan. And this issue knows by the US as well as the regional countries. Hence, US and other regional countries, including IMF, Asian Development Bank, or the World Bank, investing in the infrastructure development and the schooling in Pakistan because they know the criticality of the society of Pakistan. So, if this money is going the right way and the civil government is using this money for the liberalization of the country and reducing the radicalization within the society, then indeed there is a scope for the other investors to invest in Pakistan. But for the time being, right now, that money is not going right way. In recent budget, Pakistan government put another tax on the people for the ongoing operation surveys in North Waziristan area. Hence, if they are collecting this tax for this operation, indeed this money is also going for the army's operation in Northern Waziristan area, in Karachi operation, and for the army infrastructure rather than the common basic infrastructure for the common people and to curb this radicalization process in Pakistan.
Okay, thank you. Now, in Afghanistan, when you look at Afghanistan, and you talked about, people thought that Afghanistan would fall or crumble after the American forces majorly withdrew, but they haven't. But they haven't really flourished either, and it doesn't seem. It almost seems that the remaining forces that are there, plus the NATO forces that are there, are really what's keeping it together. Not that Afghanistan can't keep it together if everybody was gone, they wouldn't necessarily hold it together. What has really changed in Afghanistan since 2003?
American forces entered in Afghanistan end of 2001 and 2000, beginning of 2002. And Taliban lost the war, and most of the Taliban fighters migrated to border areas near Durand Line to Pakistan and Afghan areas.
But
In 2000, at the end of 2002, most of the Taliban leaders were surrendered. But some of the American policies were, when they surrendered, they wanted a good place within the society and amnesty, which Americans do not want to give. And half of the Taliban leaders who were surrendered sent back to the Guantanamo prison. So the remaining Taliban commanders backtracked and they went back to the Peshawar Quetta area and continued with their operations within Afghanistan. So this is the period since 2002 to 2014, since 2004 where the resurgence of Taliban had started. But there was the brief period of 2 years where the stability was there in Afghanistan. Since 2004, the resurgence has started, Taliban regrouped, and in 2008, General Kani and Musharraf started the operation in South Waziristan area. History is repeating right now what had happened that time. Most of the terrorists migrated to Afghanistan in 2008-2009, and resurgence of violence in Afghanistan, and that's why America has to bring back amount of forces in Afghanistan, which was in 50,000 beginning of the 2012 in 2013, just because of that reason. So there was unprecedented violence in 2008 to 2013 in Afghanistan. Again in 2014, what has happened? Same, Operation Zarbe started in northern Pakistani area, and the same number of terrorists migrated to northern Afghanistan, southern Afghanistan. US has to revise their policies, and in recent press briefings, President Barack Obama said they will maintain the current level of troops, which is around 5,500, plus NATO forces around 4,900 till end of 2017. And if the number of violent incidents or the Taliban continues their operation, then again they have to change their policy and they have to continue with maintaining the force level for next another 5 or 10 years. That is the situation, and that's what has changed in last 2004 to 2015 right now.
But is Afghanistan really doing? I mean, have they improved their economy over those years?
Uh, that's a difficult question, I would say, because nation building is not, you can't just build a nation in 10, 12 years or 14, 15 years.
Okay.
And Afghanistan is a very difficult country in that case. There are many different factors like ethnicity, is another cultural issues, geography, the interest of other neighboring countries involved in Afghanistan. So even though Afghans themselves want to build their country, they need supportive environment. And that's how this Heart of Asia conference, which supposed to start from tomorrow, is very important because there needs to be a consensus between regional countries. And they have to stop this proxy war, which is going to play in Afghanistan since last few years or 30, 40 years. Coming to the Afghans, yeah, it is their responsibility to build their country, and they are not supposed to give this space to the extra-regional elements to play within their country. Karzai was a different person, and he never left Afghanistan during the time of civil war, and after that, during the Taliban, he was there on the border areas, and he knows the tribal and ethnic affiliation within the tribes. And he exploited those affiliations to come into the power. And he needs to maintain that affiliation with his people. And that's where corruption started. Now Ashraf Ghani is there. He, I would say, unaware about this tribal and ethnic affiliation compared to Karzai era or Karzai. Still he's trying, he himself written a book on the nation building, but it is very difficult for him also to build a nation and bring all the people together on a table or lower jirga and say, okay, these are the problems and we need to solve these problems. And this is the problem, this is our national interest. But national interest is another thing and the personal interest is another thing, and Afghans are mostly interested in the personal interest, and that is where problem lies. And until and unless the education system and basic infrastructure develop and the government will reach to the rural areas in southern Afghanistan and northern Afghanistan and make them aware about what is national interest and what is nationality, the problem is not going to solve. It will remain there for next few decades.
So I guess even people they may not expect Afghanistan to build a booming economy after they just went through so much war and there's so much infrastructure that needs to be built, both physical infrastructure and through their political and societal infrastructures. But if they could just manage peace, I guess if they can bring in tourism and different other aspects and even export agriculture, things like that. Are they doing enough to help the IMF and foreign investment to come in so that they can help rebuild their infrastructure?
The basic thing to bring infrastructure or the investment is the security. And until and unless there is a secure environment in Afghanistan, no one wants to invest in Afghanistan. Another, the policy of investments. There is a different life between the US policies and Indian policies and policies of other countries. Most of the countries are investing in Afghanistan for their own national interests rather than the interest of Afghanistan. When India invested, channeled its money, India invested around $2 billion until now since 2002 in Afghanistan. Its investment gone through the basic infrastructure. India built Jhara and Dilaram National Highway to connect Afghanistan and Iran. India built Salma Dam, which is a hydroelectricity project, which gives the electricity to Kabul and other eastern provinces. So we need to know, okay, fine, US invested around $100 billion since 2001 till now. Where that money has gone? Mostly on to develop war economy in Afghanistan, which is a very weak base for the country to develop economy. So war economy cannot sustain for a longer time. Once most of the foreign forces withdrawn from Afghanistan, their economy is coming down. So countries need to understand if they want to invest in Afghanistan, they need to invest in the basic infrastructure, roads, electricity, schools, or the agricultural universities. As you said about the agriculture, one of your point. Like initially, people were ready to uh, uh, produce saffron or other things like oranges or pomegranates, which are one of the best products of Afghanistan. But when Taliban started resurging and government could not support these people security-wise and economically also, they had to produce poppy again for the economic purposes. So again, poppy cultivation has increased in Afghanistan since 2013, and the current production level is very higher than the production level during the Taliban time. So there is need to be a regional country should stand from behind Afghan and develop this infrastructure for the betterment of the region as well as their own countries and the national interests of regional countries themselves.
You mentioned the drug issues
Yes.
in Afghanistan because they have huge, vast areas of opium fields.
Yes.
Who controls those? Is that controlled by the government, or is it controlled by other organizations, or by the Americans?
So if you need to know what is government in Afghanistan, it's a coalition of the different leaders of ethnic tribes and feudals who are handling all these issues. So in every province or every village, there is a tribal leader, there is a ethnic leader who is handling everything, and the government couldn't reach to these people. Even though government is reaching to the people, these people are more powerful than the government, and there is a fear of deep state lies in this environment. Deep state is the situation where there is a parallel government is working side by side with the government, and they're saying, okay, if the government is important, we people are also important for the country, and we are also looking for the national interest. Hence, these people are also very powerful, and these people are handling this poppy cultivation. Many people from the Afghan government themselves have their own farms where poppy is produced. They're producing poppy. So government, Karzai or the Ashraf Ghani can't say anything to them or can't go against them because these are the people. Ghani is there. They are his supporters. So going against them, that means you won't be there in the power next day. So it is very difficult to understand the narcotics dynamics in Afghanistan, where government is also involved, the local people are also involved, Taliban is also involved, and I don't have any idea about the American stuff.
Okay. In Pakistan, let's come back to Pakistan for a second. Pakistan, I think, still has a stigma among a lot of the Western nations that the government does not do enough to stop terrorist organizations from training and building strength in Pakistan. Do you have an opinion or an analysis on how Pakistan is actually keeping terrorist organizations from growing within Pakistan?
There are two elements. One is Pakistan Army and the Pakistan government. Sometimes government is more powerful than army, but for the very brief period. Most of the time, army infrastructure or the COS is dominant on Pakistani government, and the most of the decision goes to the IHQ, HQ, headquarters in Rawalpindi, in Pakistan. If you're talking about the political dynamics or the basis of more major political parties in Pakistan, like Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, is the most conservative party in Pakistan, which is supported by Al Sunnat wal Jamaat. which is a terrorist organization. Lashkar-e-Tayyiba, which is working under the name of Jamaat-ud-Dawa. The cadres of Jamaat-ud-Dawa, Ahl Sunnat wal Jamaat are the supporters of Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz. So without their support, Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz cannot be in the path. So they have to take their support to come into the path. It's their vote bank. So they have to give some sort of leverage to these kind of groups to work within the societal framework. Hence, they are still working. And Jamaat-ud-Dawa is Lashkar-e-Tayyiba is banned by the US. Hafiz Saeed is there. He is banned by the US. But still he is working. He has a large number of supporters in Pakistan, all over Pakistan. And he has a big school and more than thousands of students are studying in his schools. Coming to the Sindh, it has a different dynamics where the landlords or the Larry gangs, smugglers, all of these people are incurred within each other and they are supporting to each other one or other matters. And political parties like Muttahida Qawmi Movement, MQM, or the Pakistan People's Party are taking their support because they are also their vote bank. They support economically as well as politically. So it is difficult for the Pakistani political parties to go against this terrorist fundamentalist institution who are supporting radicalization and spreading radicalization within Pakistani society. So
Okay.
I think I have answered your question.
Yeah, sure you have. Now, Pakistan has its own security struggles internally, with still the number of incidents that do occur within Pakistan every year. And yet every year they also seem to have skirmishes along the border with India. Are they working together politically to stop this from happening? Because there are times when tensions get pretty high between Pakistan and India, and neither nation can really afford to have this escalate into an all-out war. What are they doing politically to ensure this doesn't happen?
The first issue is both the countries are nuclear parts. So till 1980 and 1998, the dynamics was different because there was the possibility of conventional war between these two countries. But right now, there is no possibility of total war between Pakistan and India because of the nuclear issues.
Okay.
So there can be a limited wars between these two countries, and as you said, the skirmishes between. So initially, Pakistan and India was never ready to talk on these issues, basically Kashmir or the terrorism. But right now, they're ready to talk, and tomorrow our India's foreign ministry is visiting Pakistan to discuss these issues. But whenever these things happen, there is one or two attacks in India have happened. Initially, you know the Mumbai attacks, or before that in Delhi Parliament attack. So whenever these two countries starting approaching towards each other to discuss these issues, such attacks hamper the peace talks between these two countries, and again they come to the square one. And history shows that okay, since what have happened in the last 15, 20 years, again the situation gone back to square one all the time, and both the countries halted the talks. But right now there are some sort of hopes within India as well, Indian government establishment, that these talks will go further. There will be some sort of negotiation process will start in coming next 1 or 2 years.
Well, that would be good. India has, and this wasn't really part of everything you talked about, so please let me know if you can talk to this a little bit. India has another issue at the moment right now with another border, and that is over in Nepal. Right now there's a lot of anti-Indian sentiment in Nepal because the Nepalese feel the Indians have created an economic blockade by not allowing fuel into their country. Add to the fact that India has a lot going on right now with a lot of protests, a lot of religiously motivated protests going on within the country. major flooding down in Chennai. And yet we keep hearing about their economy growing. How is it that India can have all of these issues and still maintain growth?
So, interesting question though, because if you see the size of India and if you compare the population, it's unprecedented. It's huge.
Yeah.
Even some of my friends who visit India from the Europe and they think, okay, fine, India is huge compared to other European countries. And initially in 1947, many people thought that India will fabricate it immediately after independence. But it is not the case. India is still together. All states are together. So Indian economy, we are not looking at the economy of the states within India. We are looking at the central government economy, the economy of overall Indian state. So if the floods have happened in Chennai, okay, Chennai is the one major hub, economic hub, but there are many other hubs which are working fine. Hyderabad, Bengaluru, Mumbai, Delhi, uh, Thiruvananthapuram. So these are some of the economic hubs. So okay, one service sector has hampered because of or the IT sector in Chennai. Okay, fine. It has some sort of uh, 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 I would say problems, like it will create some sort of problem for the economy of India or for the next budget, Indian government budget. Yeah, Indian economy is still growing because Indian growth of Indian economy is not depends on the one state. It depends on the policies which government is making, because liberalization which have happened in 90s, it opened the Pandora's box for India and the other countries who wanted to invest in India. Now the growth rate has gone that time unprecedentedly. Now since 2001, because of the global economic down, it has succumbed for few percentage, like it's supposed to be grow like with 6% in 2011, 12, 13. It was growing with 4%, but now it has achieved again the same growth rate. Right now it is growing with 6%, and as World Bank said, it will grow for the 6.4 or 6.5%. So there are many possibilities for the investor because they have many options. They just don't have to invest in one part of India, not in Chennai. Okay, fine. If you have a problem with the Chennai, you can invest in Bangalore, you can invest in Hyderabad, or they can invest in Mumbai. So they have the options. Agriculture is diverse. The agricultural products are diverse. So the thing is, Indian economy is not dependent on one city or one sector. The diversity of the Indian economy is holding the growth rate of India continue.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Shreyas, I have one more question for you, and then if you have any closing remarks, you can go ahead and make those after you answer this. And really, you spent a lot of time analyzing the region, and what I'd like to know is, what is the 10-year outlook for this region?
For the region, you mean to say Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India, or the South Asia region?
Let's just take Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, and then if you have to include more of Southeast Asia with Bangladesh, Nepal, and some of the other countries, you can. But let's start with just India, Pakistan, Afghanistan.
I would say there are few inherent problems which are existing within the region. One is the diversity of the region. Second is the connectivity of the region. Third is the economic interdependence of the region. And fourth is, I would say, security. So these are the four problems which region is going to have in next 10 years also. But right now, how the China is investing in South Asia region under the name of One Belt, One Road project, or the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. At the same time, China-India is drawing economic ties. China have started their operations in Afghanistan. Uh, China has already invested $80 billion in Pakistan. China, Sri Lankan relations are growing. So having such a huge economic giant as a neighbor, obviously there are some sort of economic options available in South Asia, as well as there are some geopolitical issues or there is a competition between India and China could hamper the growth of South Asia. But it is very unlikely because economy is another issue and the security is another issue. So on the economic front, yeah, this region will grow and interoperability and interconnectivity between the region will increase in the coming 10 years. The only thing is SARC, South Asia Regional Association, needs to work properly. And it is a very good platform to discuss all these issues for the regional countries. Though I would say SARC is failure for time being now, but it will come up in next few years. Pakistani patrons understood that in coming few years they need to stand on their feet economically. Afghan government and the president is working on the same road. Uh, the new government in India is opening the doors for all the foreign direct investments and they're easing initial license route, which is not there anymore. Like the companies can come directly and invest in any states, and they will get all kind of papers and approvals from the government within a month. That is the policy which is coming. Land acquisition bills is already there in the parliament and it has already passed. So yes, land acquisition is become simpler for the foreign countries to establish their production infrastructure. Myanmar, if you're talking about the Myanmar, there is a new government, there is a democratic government, and uh, the talks between regional countries with Myanmar was less initially during the dictatorial or the under army establishment. But now with the democratic government, the linkages with the East Asia is also improving Southeast Asia basically. So with Sri Lanka again there is a democratic government. Rajpaksa has gone. Now the new establishment is very helpful as well as liberal for the investments within Sri Lanka. The only problem is with the Maldives because of the political instability and the coup by the former president and President Nasheed is in jail. So still the people are against, most majority of the people are against the present Maldivian establishment. So this political instability will hamper the growth of Maldives. But again, that is the issue of sea lanes of trade routes, which will go through the Arabian Sea and South Asia, and the Chinese idea of maritime Silk Route. That is totally another dimension. So, but as a South Asia, considering Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India, yeah, there is a possibility, there is a probability, the strong probability that the region will grow in coming next 10 years, decade or two.
Very good. Thank you so much for your time and your expertise on the analysis that you've given of the region. And a lot of people have to understand this region is very volatile. You have, especially when you had the elections going on in Bangladesh recently, in Myanmar, Nepal.
Yes.
Nepal just appointed a communist leader, which could actually add to their relations with China. And I see that they also recently filed a suit that they're going to start importing up to 30 to 40% of all their fuel from China now to try to ease some of their fuel issues that they're having. So it's a volatile area, and yet it is an area that has a lot of potential. And really, I guess I have one more question for you, and that would be, and if you can speak to this, do you think that the lifting of the sanctions against Iran will distract foreign investment from the region over to Iran and some of the other Middle East countries?
I wouldn't say that because the major investment which is coming in Iran is from NATO countries, British, French, and Germany. They are planning to invest in Iran. Uh, After NATO countries, if you see NATO's investment in South Asia is very less, and whatever the money which is coming from the Western countries is in the form of aid or something else.
Okay.
Or South Asians are the major buyers of NATO defense equipments, which is going to remain there. But as an investment as such, no, it is not going to hamper because the major investors in South Asia is China and India itself, and the Russia might be in coming few days, months.
Okay, thank you so much for your time and expertise, Shreyas. We will provide your email address for anybody who wants to reach out to you, and if they need more information, you can supply that to them directly.
Thank you, George, and I would be glad to consult with them if they have any queries further or the questions.
Okay, so thank
And
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time also and giving me this opportunity to give my perceptions and share my expertise on the region with you and the audience which is there. And if they need something more, I'll be available on my email ID.
Well, you're welcome, and thanks for sharing your additional information if somebody needs it. So you take care, sir, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much, George.